Hi, FightNGear here. I've had this question asked to me several times by email, and it is, I only have one gun and it's just a .22 rifle. Do you think that I could successfully protect my home if we were in a crisis situation and there were looting and things like that? And my answer is yes. I think the .22 rifle's accurate, and although it's certainly not what would be known as a man stopper, I believe that there's a natural aversion that anyone has to being shot. And I think that because of the low recoil and ease of reacquisition of target, the high rate of fire, and the pinpoint accuracy, I believe that at 50 yards in, a person could easily pepper someone in the face with a .22, and I think that's more than adequate to deter an attack. I'd rather have an AR-15, no doubt about it, before I get a bunch of people pointing out AR-15s and MP5s and bazookas and everything else in the world. But I'd sure rather have a .22 rifle than a bunch of knives and forks from my tableware set to throw at people. So I'm going to shoot this over to the range and show a little bit with two Ruger 10-22 rifles, a standard old beater I've had laying in the safe, and then also a Ruger 10-22 Takedown model that belongs to a friend of mine. I think you'll be surprised what they'll do just sitting in a lawn chair with a little relaxed shooting at 50 yards. Now, obviously you wouldn't be that relaxed if you were under duress, but you'd also probably have the gun propped on a windowsill or something. So anyway, when we get out there, I'm going to shoot the plates at 50 yards and see how the gun does, and then I'll be back on with some final thoughts. Got an email from a guy that said, all I have is a .22. Do you think I have anything that I could use to defend my home? So I'm down here at the 50-yard range with my old Ruger 10-22. Got some plates down there that we shoot all the time, 50 yards. In theory, this should be a no-brainer, just an easy shot. But the idea here is to see what a guy could do with a .22 if he had to, if someone was really coming up on your property and you had no other choice for self-defense. So I'm going to get this thing loaded up and see what we can do with those plates down there at 50 yards. You know, those plates are about the size of a guy's head, and I mean, if you were putting headshots in on somebody at 50 yards with a .22, I suspect that would be all right for defending your property. I'll be back on in a minute. Let me get this loaded up. Let's see if we can defend our property at 50 yards with the 10-22 here. Now this is going to be offhand shooting, so I may just kind of do okay. Who knows? I think it's pretty clear to see that at 50 yards, if the guy needed to, he could certainly defend his property. I don't care what anybody says about .22 stopping power, blah, blah, blah. You start shooting a guy in the face with a .22, and he's going to have to be awful determined to want to come onto your property. So, you know, my answer is yes, you can defend your home with a .22 rifle if you needed to. Would I rather have an M14? Sure. Would I rather have an AR-15? Sure. But, you know, I'd rather have this than nothing. So, you know, like I say, I think it's pretty adequate. So, anyway, I'm going to turn that off. I'm probably done shooting at 50 yards with a rifle. It's not that challenging, and I didn't bring any rimfire pistols with me today. So, we'll see you back at the house. I'm out at the range, and I've been getting so many questions about .22 rifles for self-defense, for defending property, things like that. I borrowed a buddy of mine's rifle. This is the new one. It's kind of red hot. It's the 10-22 Takedown. To take it down, you lock the bolt back. There's a lever right here in the front. You just twist. I mean, as you can see, hopefully you can see in there. That's pretty simple to put it back together. You just put it in, snap it into place, and then I never was very good with the bolt release on these Rugers, but anyway, once you drop the bolt forward, then it's ready to go. Put some ammo in it, and I'm going to shoot it out here at 50 yards at the plates like I did mine earlier. And I'm using the Ruger magazine with it, which is actually a factory one. It's the BX25, so it's a 25 round magazine. I don't think I've got 25 in there. Hopefully it won't take 25 to drop those plates, but let's see how this one does. I'm going to shut the camera off for a minute, get my ears and eye protection on. I'll turn it back on and we'll see how I do aiming at those plates down there at 50 yards. This will be the 1022 Takedown model at 50 yards shooting at the plates. Again, like I say, this is just a demonstration of what you can do as far as defending your property. I really do like this rifle. It's gorgeous, and I like the magazine as well. Now, this will be the first time I've ever shot this gun, so if I miss a little bit, don't be emailing me and hassling me about it. As you can see, a very capable firearm for defending your property. It'd also be great for obviously gathering small game, things like that. It's a tremendous gun. Like I said, I've never shot this one before, and so I did have a couple of misses in there, but I could see where a little practice with this gun, a guy could just sit there at 50 yards and hit those plates all day without ever having a miss. But anyway, I think this would be a phenomenal gun. How much was this?
$349.
$349. It's stainless with a polymer stock, and I'd have to call it a bargain. I'd say in the gun world, this is probably a must-buy if you're thinking about a 22 rifle. Well, like I said, at 50 yards, there's just no doubt the 22 rifle is more than capable of fending off some attackers. Nothing's going to stop a enraged mob of hundreds of people with torches and weapons of their own. But if you have some scattered looting in an area and they have a choice of some guy that's sitting there, I mean, just pounding their face with 22 long rifle rounds, or going to a house with your typical undefended liberal that's sitting there waiting on someone from 911 to respond, I don't think there's any doubt which house they're going to choose to loot. That 1022 Takedown, I think, is an incredible gun. It's gorgeous looking, it's light, it's accurate. My old 1022 is probably 20 years old, and actually has a chip out of the front sight, which where the little gold bead used to be. I'm going to get that fixed one of these days. But even with that old gun, plenty capable. And I think that, like I said, I know it was a short clip, but I think it shows that there's no doubt you could defend your home with a .22 rifle if you had to. Just be sure you have lots of ammo. Certainly wouldn't hurt to have a few extra magazines as well. Anyway, this is FightNGear. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd click like and subscribe. It'll help if I ever do decide to start any kind of advertising program or anything. So I appreciate it. Be safe.